BoJ Introduction Claudia Attai. The roles and objectives of the BoJ is to issue Japanese banknotes and carry out currency and monetary control, as well as monetary policies to maintain price stability and a sound national economy. In addition, ensure smooth and stable circulation of money, such as payments and settlements, to maintain the financial system. To meet its inflation target of 2%, BoJ buys large volumes of government bonds to lower long-term bond yields. In addition, it has a negative interest rate policy, which allows short-term yields to remain at minus 0.1%. In the 1990s, the main monetary instrument was ZIRP, and over the years has implemented quantitative and qualitative monetary easing. Thank you. I'll hand it over to my next colleague.
There are various domestic conditions that need to be taken into consideration while determining the monetary policy. One such condition is the consumption tax, which has been increased from 8 to 10%. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused confusion and chaos, which has led to a decline in both business and consumer confidence, decreased spending, fall in prices, decline in stock markets, and also decrease in wage growth and increase in unemployment. Due to lack of availability of cash, companies are unable to pay off their debts. The cancellation of the 2020 Olympics, along with other factors, have led to a decline in the GDP. To prevent the economy from suffering too much, the Japanese government have announced a stimulus package worth 1 trillion.
Thank you, Aya. Now I'll be talking about the current foreign conditions. Firstly, the rising uncertainties and instabilities around the pandemic, which are only worsened by the widespread shutdown of production facilities, especially in the US and China, drastically reduce the global demand, hence the total exports and imports, exerting downward pressure on domestic production. Foreign direct investment would also be largely postponed. Secondly, the fall in crude oil and the recent US interest rate cut shift investors to purchase Japanese yen as a safe haven investment. Hence, the currency appreciates, further depressing exports. Now, I'll be passing my time to Mikey.
Thank you, Gia. So for the AD curve, firstly, increased taxes cause disposable income to fall, as well as consumption, causing the first shift of the curve. A couple months later, COVID-19 hits, causing business and consumer confidence to plunge. And then, of course, government restrictions, airline restrictions, all hit the economy at once, causing investment and consumption to plunge even further. Here comes the government now with expansionary fiscal policy. Bank of Japan comes in with quantitative easing, purchasing bonds, which all stimulate the economy and allow the AD curve to shift back to the right. However, the purchase of bonds caused the yen to appreciate, which leads to a fall in the domestic demand for goods, offsetting some of the stimulation. So the overall consensus for Japan is that there's been a net fall in aggregate demand. This is evident in the recent news as Japan has actually entered a recession after going through 2 negative quarters of GDP growth. And now we'll have a look at the AS curve with Anne.
Thank you, Aria and Gia. Japan's demographic issue of an aging and declining population has been aggravated by the current COVID-19 pandemic. It has led to higher rates of unemployment, reduced labor force, falling productivity, and lower potential output, resulting in a possible shift of the AS curve to the left. However, higher unemployment rates typically lead to lower wages, as exemplified by the current decrease in wage growth. This indicates an opportunity to raise potential output due to decreased production labor costs. Hence, this ambiguity mitigates the potential leftward shift of the AS curve. Additionally, the US oil price slump translates a decrease in firm market prices, which are passed on to consumers under the depressed economic conditions. Overall, declining prices while output is below its natural level causes lower inflation expectations, supporting a rightward shift of the AS curve. Conclusively, with the prospect of quarantine restrictions easing soon, the AS curve will shift to the right from equilibrium point A to B.
Our conclusion is that Bank of Japan conducts unconventional monetary policy. Under current conditions, we need to fight against deflation and the further fall in output by shifting AD curve to the right somehow, as the green arrow in this diagram shows. Conventional monetary policy could be an option, however, this is not the case under current Japanese economy. The reason is that it's under the liquidity trap and interest rate already reaches zero, thus a further increase in money supply or rightward shift of LM curve no longer causes the interest rate to fall. Instead, we can conduct quantitative easing. This not only increases consumption spending through better consumer sentiment, but also increases exports due to the Japanese yen depreciation. In addition, following fiscal policies can be combined to make the expansionary effect more powerful.